G'day, you nine. How you going? Almost at the weekend. Hope you've got through the week so far. So good. Um, Today is going to be a short one so that you can get through it and then get on with the weekend. What we're looking at today is we're looking at degrees, minutes, and seconds. And what these are is another way of sort of breaking down subunits of a degree. So we know that there's 360 degrees in a revolution, but of course you could then have a smaller rotation that's smaller than one of those degrees. Okay, and we can have a decimal of a degree, so you can have 12.5 degrees as an angle. But you can also break it down with minutes and seconds, okay? Just like you can break hours down by minutes and seconds, okay? And the conversion rate is the same. You can see here, 60 minutes in a degree, 60 seconds in a minute, okay? So if you could break 1 degree down into 60 subunits, that would be minutes, and then you could break each of those minutes down further into 60 subunits, and that'll be seconds. And where this comes from is actually from old sort of navigation. So when we're talking about bearings that you travel when you were navigating in a boat, they would use degrees, minutes, and seconds. Okay, and it's a partly traditional thing, but also 60 is a much better number for dividing into fractions than 100. So you might think, why don't we just use decimals all the time? Okay, there are some benefits of using 60. You can divide 60 by 2, you can divide it by 3, you can divide it by 4, you can divide it by 5, you can divide it by 6 without getting any sort of fractions. So whereas 100, you can't do that. So here's our calculator. You can see the degrees, minutes, second button is there. So you got the degrees and then a little apostrophe for seconds and then 2 apostrophes for minutes and then 2 apostrophes for seconds. And then you got your trig functions there, sine, cos, tan. So what we're going to learn today is how to use our calculator to work these things out. Okay, so I get my calculator up and I just simply got to, let me just set this up so I can do both at the same time. Okay. So I've got my calculator here. So all I've got to do is I've got to press cos, and then I've got to go 84.3. And then I don't have to write degrees if that's all it is. Okay, I can close my bracket and then press equals. And there we have it. So we're going to convert it into 4 decimal places. So it's going to be 0.0993. Okay, for B, we get sine 68.7, close bracket, and there you have it, 0.931, and then that 6, okay, is going to have to round up to a 7. Okay, etc., etc. So you could do that tan one yourself. However, in the case that you're given the angle in degrees and minutes, or degrees, minutes, and seconds, you have to use our degrees, minutes, second button. So it's going to be cos, and then it's 78, and every time you have a unit, you press this button. So 78 degrees, and then 15 minutes. Now, although it comes up on your screen as a sort of degree symbol, it interprets that as degrees and minutes, okay? So it doesn't show the apostrophe. The graphics and the calculator must be limited in that way, but we get our answer here. So we're doing D here. That becomes 0.2036, okay? And then we'll just do E as a final example. So sine 11 degrees and 12 minutes, and then equals, and then we get our one there. So 0.1942. So you just press that degrees, minute, second button every time you have your degrees, minute, or second symbol. Okay, now we can actually do further sort of operations with trig functions, okay? So we can do 12 cos 15.6. What that means is it's 12 times cos 15.6. Just like, if you had 12x, you can just write the 12 in front without the multiply sign, and it means 12 times. Okay, now you can just write that in your calculator as 12 times cos 15.6. Okay, you don't have to write the times, and it will interpret that correctly. So that becomes 11.557. Oh, that's actually going to go 80. Okay, because it rounds up. Okay, and then again, we can go 5. Okay, if we want, you can put the times in there. It doesn't matter. Sine 11 degrees, 15 minutes. Oops. Okay, and then there's your answer. So 0.9755, it rounds up. And then C, okay, we can put in this whole thing here. We can go 3 tan 11 degrees, 51 minutes. Okay, close your brackets. You got to make sure you close that bracket there. Okay, and then cos 23 degrees, 15 minutes. Okay, so what trig does, those sine, cos, tan functions, is they convert an angle into a ratio between two sides. Okay, so we know that sine is the ratio of opposite over hypotenuse, cos is the ratio of adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is the ratio of opposite over adjacent. Okay, so these numbers, 0 point yada yada, is just a ratio between two sides given a particular angle. So you put an angle inside the brackets, it spits out a ratio. We'll talk about exactly what that is more as we do this trig thing, but if you can use your calculator, then you're on the right track. Okay, so we put our whole thing in there. We made sure we closed our brackets and we get our answer 0.6851. Okay, and then you have it. All right, thanks. Year 9, good luck with the work. Enjoy the weekend when it comes. I'll see you next week.